and they ran into a Georgia team that was poised, calm, collected, knew what they needed to do, and executed in all three phases today. They turned the football over when they needed to. I think one of the interceptions came in the end zone. Tennessee was very uncharacteristic with that. Hendon Hooker doesn't turn the football over. He turned the football over today. Georgia forced them to kick field goals, slowed the offense down, and made them play at their pace. And that was the unique part, because it wasn't just a battle between Tennessee's offense, high-powered offense, and Georgia's defense. Georgia's offense was the number 2 ranked offense in the country heading into this game. I said this, I made this point. Georgia's offense was the number 2 ranked offense in the country behind Tennessee heading into this game. And Georgia was able to dictate on both sides of the football their pace of play, their style of play. They never let Tennessee hit a big shot and say, all right, here we go. Hey, we had the ball for 35 seconds. Now let's start playing ping pong. Let's start going back and forth. They never let Tennessee get into that point. They made them be methodical moving the ball, which Tennessee has not had to do all year. Georgia, on the other hand, was able to get methodical, take advantage of some turnovers and some advantageous field positions, flip some big scores out of that. They had the quick turnover, had the ball on the plus 40-yard line, took the big shot, threw the out and up. There's a lot of things that Georgia did offensively to dictate the entire game and defensively. And it was really great complimentary football from my end. And that is why I made the comment headed way back in this show that Georgia might be the next dynasty, because they're now showing this. They're showing the maturity of a program that's been through the trenches. They've grown, they've won big games. And when the lights come on, they come out and play their best. And that's what you see out of the best teams week in, week out in college football, year in, year out in college football. And this was a prime example of it. And, I felt bad not picking them afterwards, but like I said, I had to go with the sweetheart. And like I said, I think Tennessee's still in it. Part of the argument that I made, they beat both the teams in the West that showed up. And if they're going to go with it, whatever, Tennessee's got to continue to do what they got to do. But a big tip of the cap to Georgia. They just dictated the game on both sides of the football for 4 quarters. And it was really impressive to watch. And the rain started and they, could have been worse. But they did a great job of commanding the football game. And it was just very impressive to watch. So,
Felder, before I hand this to you, I want you to just look at this and then carry this ball here real quick. Hack did bring up a great point. He's going the dynasty route with Georgia. Mm-hmm. That's fair, because they were in the national championship with Jake Fromm. That was a national championship team, and that was, 4 years ago. Yeah. And they were back last year, and they won it. Now they're back on the charge again. Mm-hmm. And for people at home, don't forget now, Georgia is 2 hours west of Clemson, and they're 2 hours east of Bama.
Right. And
they're sitting right down
60
there.
60 minutes away from Atlanta.
Yeah, correct. But I'm saying you got 2 powers. It's not like USC all the way out here or Texas all the way down. Like, they got plenty of room. They have no natural threat.
Yeah.
You just recruit how you recruit and go about your business. Every time they walk into a high school, you're likely to walk past a Bama coach or a Clemson coach, and you still got to find a way. Their quarterback is not a 5-star guy. Stroud is. McCarthy is. Stroud for Ohio State, McCarthy for Michigan.
Bryce
Young is for Alabama.
DJ was.
DJ, yeah.
DJ, 5-star.
Caleb Williams.
Stetson Bennett is a walk-on.
Come out the mud, man.
And they tried to get rid of him.
Transferred out. Went and played JUCO for a year or two and said, hey, I'm going to come back.
It wasn't even Killer JUCO came on back. And he's like, look, I'm your guy. Justin Fields decides to roll. Other guys decide to roll. Stetson Bennett's like, look, you're gonna have to go with me sometimes.
Face down another 5-star in JT Daniels.
Correct. Yeah, he's running
out of here,
all
my
these
boy.
5 stars up out of there. And here's the killer part. He's got 5 stars sitting behind him. They develop players. They recruit players. They are always game ready. They never beat themselves. That's something that's not often said about Georgia. Always sound play at football, and they do what's necessary. And then more times than not, they're blowing teams all the way back to, Kazakhstan all
They're
the
a very
time.
physical football team.
Very,
too.
very physical football
They're a very
team.
physical football team.
So Felder, I'm handing the ball to you just to say what Hack is saying. A lot of that stuff is going to hold because that's just who you are. It's not like they got a big old monster at receiver, and when he leaves, so goes the firepower. Or when these two defensive tackles leave, so goes the front line. That's just not the case. This is starting to become DNA.
Well, I think that they have created, and again, we talk about it with Alabama, and it's this part of Alabama that I wonder what that looks like moving forward because they're missing some pieces. We saw, like, again, I said it to start the show. We had a lot of Alabama guys that look like bugs on the road. You're not supposed to be, if you're a defensive football player, you're not supposed to be on your back. That's the worst place for you to be. And then with Georgia, they're never on their back. They're moving forward. And when they tackle people, the people go backwards. And when I look at Georgia, the big thing that I see, and I do think that they're flipping it over. They're switching the game over to dynasty mode. I do think they are. And I think they're going to continue to be, at the minimum, contenders. There's nothing fake or pretend about them. This is the team. They're for real. And listen, remember, let's not forget about this. Nolan Smith is out for the season.
Mm-hmm.
And they still got the job done. Now, I will say this, 32, whoever you are, you need to put some gloves on. Because you do look, you don't look great. But
public service announcement from Field of 12. Fellas, Georgia came in 3 in the poll. Do they jump Ohio State and go to 1 for this win? I'll just leave it there first.
Hack, you know who I'm talking about. And you know he got to put some gloves on.
It's a good comment, fella. That's why I just giggled. It's very solid. Astute point.